Okay, how would you react if you started a business and it failed, losing most or all of your savings in the process? I'd learn from my mistakes and start over. I'd be very shaken but would eventually recover. That would be a disaster. I'd be devastated. I don't know what I'd do. I would probably run for mayor.
I resemble that remark. I wasn't listening.
Dan Miller wrote that line. Okay. What kind of gamble interests you the most? A long shot, not a long short, a long shot with odds of 100 to 1 or more, in which you can make a real killing. A game in which the odds are against you, but in which you can improve your chances of winning by developing your skill at the game. Next, how much management experience have you had? Several years supervising a variety of people and projects, a little or none. You become totally involved in your work, tending to talk about it over meals with your family, to friends, at parties, etc. Yes, definitely, mildly, but I'm not compulsive about it. No, I keep my business and personal lives separate. Next, are you prepared to work 80 or more hours a week for an indefinite number of years? Be honest with this one. Yes, I'm excited about the prospect. Nobody's excited about the prospect of working 80 hours, but are you willing to do it? Yes, if I have to, but I will look forward to the time when the business is secure enough for me to take it a little easier. And 3, no, that shouldn't be necessary except in the beginning. I'll work smart enough to put in reasonable hours. Okay, nobody has left the room screaming yet, so I'm assuming we're good to go. When you engage in competitive activities, what is most important to you? Winning, playing with style, grace, and good sportsmanship. Some of the guys are giggling. They've never been graceful in their lives. Enjoying myself and getting a good workout. Why are you laughing? Next, do you belong to and actively participate in church groups, civic organizations, social and fraternal clubs, political organizations? Yes, I'm a real joiner. I belong to 5 or more organizations. I go to meetings regularly, participate actively, and even run for office. I belong to a few organizations, but am not too active in most of them. No, I try to stay away from such activities as they take energy away from my work. Next, do you like to solve problems yourself, or are you okay with getting help and advice from an expert? I don't like reinventing the wheel. The first thing I do when faced with a problem is look around for someone who has already solved the same dilemma. I work on things myself for a while and look for outside help if I get stuck, or I take pride in working out my own solutions. Next, how do you handle getting several tasks done at the same time? I'm able to get a number of things underway at once, dividing my time between them. I'm able to switch my attention to the hottest item and then return to the others without losing much momentum. Next, I find tasks yield to concentrated effort. I like to work hard on one thing until it's completed, then move on to the next. Next, how do you rate your organizational abilities? Great. I always know where I am and where I'm going. I force the people under me to function the same way. Or fair to good, I generally know what's going on, but occasionally get lost. And number 3, I'm a mess. How is your health and energy? I'm in excellent health. I have a great deal of energy and almost never get sick. I have an average level of health and energy. I have a significant health problem and am tired a lot. Next, are you unemployed? Nope. I'm considering leaving my current job to start my business. Yes, but I'm considering my business for some time and would have to quit soon anyway. Or yes, I have recently laid off and I thought I'd look into starting my business while looking for another job. Almost at the end. It's a fun game. Next, how do you handle conflict of interest, as in dissatisfied customers or firing employees? I don't like it, but I get through it as quickly as possible and put it behind me. I rather enjoy conflict and winning by dominating others. Or I can't stand fights. I get through them, but it takes me days to recover emotionally. You'll hurt my feelings. How do you feel about authority? I like running my own show, but can accept authority that I feel is legitimate. I have to be able to do things my own way. I'm most comfortable when I have an authority figure to look up to. Finally, can you make decisions? I can weigh the pros and cons and make a decision quickly. The outcome is usually pretty good. I make good decisions, but it takes me a long time. I will not be rushed. I'm uncomfortable making important decisions. Everybody good? You finished? How do you think you did? Think you're an entrepreneur? Or an entrepreneur? If you're an entrepreneur, you can smell it. Sorry, it was there. I had to say it. All right, what I want to do now is I want to go over these one at a time. And again, feel free to discuss. Okay? This is an open forum while I'm up here. Okay? There is no rules. If you've got comments, if you've got questions, if you disagree, if you agree, excellent. All right. Number one, are you a self-starter? What did everybody say, A, B, or C? Or should I say first bullet, second bullet, third bullet? Is that the way it works? A small business owner must have drive and initiative. He or she has to be the prime mover for getting things done day in and day out. Some people say this is the single most important characteristic of an entrepreneur. Unfortunately, it's sometimes hard to tell if you have this characteristic if you've spent your career in a corporate job letting someone else initiate your actions. If you chose A, the first one, and consistently generate your own ideas, you have an advantage over those who wait to set their goals. How many people said A? Good. You have to be a self-starter in business. You know, Paul was talking about during the week, he has to, sandblast his kid out of bed in the morning. But on the weekend, the kid's up at 5 in the morning. Well, he's an entrepreneur on the weekend and an employee during the week. That's what this kid is. Okay? You've got to have the ability to get up, to get going. You're not going to have someone there kicking you in the backside. Okay? When I was talking earlier about how I met each one of these people, Dan Miller, who came in late, a great example of taking the initiative. Dan and I, we were at a Mark Victor Hansen event. I didn't know Dan from Adam. I had read his book, but I didn't know him. Well, he was on stage at the Mark Victor Hansen event, speaking there, and I went, well, that's Dan Miller. I've read his book. He lives right up the road from me. I got to meet him. And so Dan and Joanne ducked out and I think spent the weekend at the mall or something. Dan's sitting there holding a purse all weekend long. But on the Sunday of the event, there was a lunch. And I got my little tray, and I'm walking through, and lo and behold, there's Dan Miller sitting in a chair, eating his lunch, and there's an empty chair beside him. Now, I had two choices. I could have taken my tray and went and sat elsewhere, or I could take the initiative and meet a man that I respected greatly. I'd read his book. I was a fan. Wanted to meet him. So, big old bull in the china shop, me, go up and sit down beside him and start talking, and it was funny because everybody hits on Dan. And it's not because he's an attractive man. Not that you're not an attractive man. But when you're someone at Dan's caliber, everybody wants to come up and talk to you. They want advice. And so Dan and I are talking. It was funny. Joanne, his wife, was on the other side with a friend going, oh, God, look at this guy bugging the crap out of Dan. But we got to talking. We discovered we had a lot in common, became really good friends. Dan invited me on his radio show in Nashville, which was a hoot. And now we're buddies. We do business together. I love and respect the guy, and it's the initiative of just sitting down in that chair. Okay? This weekend, take the initiative. Introduce yourself. Don't be shy. In business, you have to take the initiative. You have to be a self-starter. Does that make sense? No one is going to come in and kick you out of bed.